Students, again welcome back to your IT class. So today we are going to start our session 12, that is framing questions. Okay, so same way, before starting our today's session, let's have a small recap of what we have done in our last class. So if you remember, in the last class we have done our session 10, that was sentence formation 2. So in that particular session we have learned that in some sentences the verb is followed by s. Now for example, makes, likes, okay, while in some sentences it is not. Now for example, I make cakes, okay, he make cakes. These are all what? Affirmative sentences, means the positive sentences. Okay, similarly some sentences do not, while some sentences use does not. Now for example, I do not make cakes, or he does not make cakes. Now these are what? These are negative sentences because the word do not is used. Now similarly, do I make cakes? Okay, does he make cakes? These are called as what? Interrogative sentences. Then we have what? The third person singular rule, okay, which indicates that only with the third person singular we will add s or es, or we will use does or does not. Now in a sentence, in order to show position or ownership, have or has or have are used. Now for example, I have a brother, I have got a bike, we have a house, they have got many friends. So these are what? These are affirmative sentences. Okay, then just we need to add not with have or has. For example, I have not got a bike, or they do not have friends, he does not have a lot of free time. These are again negative sentences which shows the position or ownership. Okay, so this was from our session 10. Okay, that was sentence formation 2. Now then we had done our session 11, where we have talked about our family. Now if you remember, in our family we have parents. Okay, we have our parents, our brothers and our sisters, our grandparents. Okay, and in our extended family we have aunts, uncles, cousins, okay, etc. But the most common relations in family are father, mother, the relationship is parent, and son and daughter, the relationship is the child. Okay, then there were many other relations also. So, and we are telling something about our relationship to someone else, we remember we use the third person singular rule here. For example, your uncle is a good swimmer, his cousin is my classmate, our grandparents tell beautiful stories. So this is what we have done from our session 11, where we've talked about our family relations. Okay, now let's come to our today's session. So today's session is what? Framing questions, and the learning objectives of today's session is that we will have knowledge on framing yes and no questions. Okay, for which the questions for which the answer will be yes or no, and framing WH questions. Okay, let's see what it is. So framing yes and no questions. So framing questions, yes, the learning objectives is framing yes and no questions and framing WH questions. Okay, so first one is yes and no question. Now yes and no questions are questions to which the answer is yes or no. Okay, so we make yes and no questions by putting the subject after the first part of the verb. You can see here as an example, they are working hard. If you change it to a question, it will be are they working hard? Similarly, they will be working hard. If you change it to a question, it will be will they be working hard? He had worked hard. Had he had worked hard? You have been working hard. Have you been working hard? Then they might have been working hard. Might they have been working hard? So this is how the sentences you can change to a question. Okay, so you'll be using yes, will, had, have, might. The answer will be yes or no, right? Some more examples are given over here, as you can see. Simple affirmative sentences. Okay, I play, she plays. The question element you can use here is do or does. Do I play? Okay, does she play? Now here you can see where you have used the does and where you are using does. Okay, you can see the s is removed from the verb play. Okay, that is, it is used the first form of play. Here you will not use plays. Does she plays? No, you will use as does she play. Then you see the second example, I played. The question element you will use here is did. Did I play? Okay, now with did you are going to use the first form of play. Okay, you will not use did I play. Got it? So this is how you are going to form the questions. Okay, so these are your yes and no questions, how you are going to frame the questions. Okay, after the assignment you will have questions on this, how to form questions, yes and no questions. Then here some more examples are given. Simple affirmative sentence, I am playing, he is playing, we are playing. Then question element you are using am, is, are. Okay, am I playing, is he playing, are we playing. Okay, this is how you change the sentence to as question. So there are many more here. Okay, then I won't be going through all this. You have your book, please go through it one by one. All right, then here you can see I can play, the last one I should play. Then question element you will use here is can, should. Can I play, should I play. All right, so this is how you frame your yes and no questions. Then we have the next one as the WH questions. As you can see, WH questions. Now the WH are the words what, when, where, who, which and how. So we use clause with a WH word. That means what are you doing? Who ate all the pies? These are different examples of WH questions. Why did you do that? Then you can see where do you live? How do you go to school? Well, will they reach here? So all these are examples of WH questions. Okay, how you can refer them as a WH questions, where you are using words like what, when, where, who, which, why and how. Okay, so this is all about your yes and no questions and WH questions. Okay, let's have a quick summary of this session. Okay, so first one is yes and no questions. So yes and no questions are those questions to which the answer is always yes or no, and we make yes and no questions by putting the subject after the first part of the verb. For example, they are working hard. If you change it to a question, it will be are they working hard. Okay, then we had WH questions. WH words are what, when, where, who, which, why and how, and we use clause with a WH word. Like for example, what are you doing? Who ate all the pies? These are the different examples of WH questions, okay, which you have from your session framing questions. Now let's go back to our new session, that is session 13, which is sentence formation. Okay, so here we are in this session we are going to have our knowledge on the use of adjectives and adverbs. All right, so the learning objectives of this session is you will know on have knowledge on the use of adjectives and adverbs. So adjectives and adverbs. Now what are adjectives? So as you can see, adjectives, we use adjectives in order to describe nouns or pronouns. Okay, adjectives can come before noun or after the linking verbs. Now before the noun, okay, he dropped the hot plate. I have a black cat. The small boy ran down the street. What a beautiful view. It is cold weather. So these are used before the noun. After a linking verb, you can see here, he seems tired. The weather became cold. The view is beautiful. My cat is black. Okay, the linking verbs are verbs like be, become and seem, which are not action but instead they link the subject to an adjective, noun or phrase that give us more information about the subject. That means he seems tired. Yes, the information it's giving us more information about the subject. What happened to the weather? The weather became cold. What is the view? The view is beautiful. How is the cat looks like? Black. Okay. So we make the comparative and superlative of adjectives by adding either er or es. You know the superlative, yes, and comparative degree, then or using more or most. She is tall, okay, then she is taller than her sister. She is the tallest person in the class. So this is how you can use the adjectives, okay, the superlative and the comparative adjectives. Then we have is adverbs. Now what are adverbs? Adverbs are used to describe verbs, adjectives or other adverbs. They are often but not always made by adding ly to the adjective. I walk slowly. So here you can see the slowly tells us about the verb walk. Okay, how he is walking or how she is walking slowly. They work quickly, right? Same way, we can make comparative and superlative form of adverbs by using more and most. She sang loudly. She sang more loudly than her friend. She sang most loudly in the class. Okay, so these are the different superlative and the comparative forms of adverbs. So this is how you can use the adverbs. Okay, now here you can see in the table the first form of adjective is tall there in the first example. Second form of comparative was taller, and the third form of superlative is the tallest. You know that the different degree of comparison. Okay, so this was all about your session number 13. Yes, that is sentence formation 3 about the use of adjectives and adverbs. So let us do a small summary. So here in this session 13, we had learned about adjectives, and we use adjectives in order to describe nouns and pronouns, and adjectives can come before noun or after linking verbs. For nouns, he dropped the hot plate. Okay, what a beautiful view. And for linking verbs, he seems tired. Okay, just describing about the subject. The weather became cold. Then adverbs are what? Adverbs are used to describe verbs, adjectives or other adverbs, and they are often used but not always made by adding ly to the adjective. For example, I walk slowly. Okay, they walk quickly, where slowly tells out about the verb walk. So this is all about your adjectives and adverbs in session 13. Okay. So today only up to here. Please go through the video and the content from your textbook. Okay, after the video I have an assignment for you. Please complete it. Alright, and at the same time keep learning. Thank you. Have a nice day.